Hey guys, Amy and Loie here, totally dripping in the sauna. This is definitely not just a nice healthy glow. This is like wet, dripping sweat. Here we are to give you your playful experiment for the week. And this one is called What Moves You Forward, all right? And it's actually, hang on with me, because it might be something where you're like, huh? It's a body thing. Like, we want for you to get together, and what you're going to do first is take turns walking back and forth and just, take some steps. Walk across the room. Notice your body. Get into your body. Really think about what's going on in your body when you walk back and forth. You might initially start noticing things that are tight or something, like, oh, I kind of clench my thighs when I walk, or my back is rounded and I have really bad posture, or I clench my jaw, or, whatever. You might notice these tiny details, or just whatever's going on for you physically today. It might be like you have a sore neck or whatever. So it's just take a couple rounds noticing your body, and then get to the question of the game, which is, what moves you forward? What is moving you forward when you're walking? Okay, and I'm pretty sure, because Loie did this too, the first answer that's going to come to your mind is my legs. I mean, okay, the literal answer is your legs are doing the work and that's what's moving you forward. But a little deeper than that, I'd like us to kind of cue into yeah, but is there a part of my body that's leading? Is my chin out front leading, or my hips out front? Or even energetically, if it's okay, I feel a heat or an energy kind of coming from my hips, or, coming from my thighs, or, what is the thing? And we'll give examples, don't worry, because I do feel like this is one of those where it's a little bit of an abstract question. It's a little bit metaphorical, even though movement specialists look at this kind of stuff all the time when they're trying to notice how your spine is situated and correct posture. But we're doing this a little bit more for fun, a little bit more play, and also for the metaphor, because we're gonna just play with what that could mean. It's almost we're not pretending it definitely does mean anything, but we're just playing with the possibilities of getting creative and associative thinking, thinking of things how they could be connected or related to each other. So as you're walking forward, here are some examples. For me, my head leads, my chin. I definitely am better at it, but at a certain point in my life, my head was definitely the thing. My chin was out front. And so what could that mean? I mean, maybe it means I'm tough and I can take it on the chin. Probably it means that I lead with my head and my thoughts, and that kind of my thoughts move before my actions, or before I get there. It's my thoughts are racing ahead of me. Yep. That could be, also, shoulders, because the parts of the body, and you don't have to look this up, but if you're curious, please do. Parts of the body have long been associated with various things, and in Chinese medicine, even a certain part of your heel or toe is associated with your head or your eyes or your sinuses or whatever. So you can really look into okay, well, what does that mean? What do chins symbolize? What have they been known to symbolize? Or you can make up your own, I'm kind of doing right now, where I'm just okay, what makes sense, my head, my thoughts, something to that, or planning. I definitely am a planner and lead with planning. So that makes sense, Shoulders. Shoulders are another one that people might lead with or have slumped over. That's about responsibility, maybe, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Or your heart. Maybe you really have your heart open and you lead with your heart. So maybe emotions are what is primary in your life, or you lead with compassion and kindness and emotion and stuff like that. And that's just the energy that fuels you moving forward in life, even, because we can look at this physical parts of my body that are leading, but also just where's the energy coming from when I walk? Because that's like almost two separate questions, or they can bleed into each other. But for me, even though I'm leading with my head, and sometimes the energy is from my head, and it's like that planning and that thinking and that, other times, my, stomach has led. I kind of like, lean almost like my hips out. I feel like that might be something that could be like taking in new information, because you think about a stomach and that's like where you assimilate your nutrients and like take them all in and make them so that you can function. That could be like taking in new information, and that definitely is something I've done. But even energetically, like from my heart, I've led sometimes or held back, and like just the reverse, like had my heart be the last thing. So maybe I'm not like letting the energy of my emotions or my heart like contribute to what moves me forward in life enough. I could like pull from that energy resource a little bit more balanced and line myself up metaphorically with my body, but also like in this way of like energy, and realize like, oh yeah, dude, I could use some of that energy of emotion to like lead me forward in life too. Another one, let's see, what else was I thinking about? Actually, which one is yours?
Hips. I lead with my hips. I feel like I lead with my hips.
Yeah. Hips. That was another one that I was thinking of. That is, I would guess, just all these are guesses, and you guys can do this together where, make different guesses. Hips are kind of like rooted and grounded, and like, so maybe it's like leading with your root of your person and like the basics or the primitive stuff, and that's what moves you forward in life, or that's what leads. I also think of like comfort, because you kind of sit down and your hips, and it's like, it's kind of the base part of your person, the primal part that like seeks pleasure or comfort. And I also kind of know that like, like comfort and enjoyment is what moves her forward, just like, where's that comfort and all of that going to be? That's like the energy that draws her forward in life. I was thinking about like knees or legs. That can mean like stamina. I don't know. I've heard kind of knees being like stamina. And if you're just like barely like clinging to a thread and, like stamina, it's just like sheer willpower that you kind of get through life with. But just try it out. I know it's kind of a wacky way to think of things, and I know it's like more of a poetic instead of a literal kind of like way to think of things, but your body houses so much information about you. Your body is your vehicle, and like you store things in your body, tension. So like before, when we're talking about like noticing that you clench your jaw, do you like hold back your words, or if you were to be leading with your chin, maybe that is like you lead with your words and you speak now and act later. But thinking of associations and like trying to translate things that aren't literal, things that are more poetic, and just like look at the possibilities. It just makes you feel like you're more creative, because it could be. It doesn't, none of this like has to be, but when you're able to see possibilities in that, and when you're actually looking and sort of like listening to your body, like for what it might have to tell you, that's another really interesting place to be. Because like I said, just everywhere, even in science and stuff now, when you're looking at latest research and whatever, we house a lot more information in our bodies than we think. And giving it a chance to talk, being friends with your body, listening to what it has to say, tapping into it, give it some time and some space to have some of your attention and some of your appreciation, and just kind of looking at it and enjoying it and observing what it does. I feel like there's really some value and fun in that. Plus, have fun thinking of all the wacky things that it could mean if you, lean with one shoulder or whatever. I know nobody walks like that, but I'm just saying, enjoy goofing off with some of the possibilities too, because that's all these are, is just like us creating possibilities for what moves you forward by looking at your body for the answers. So see how it goes.